It's the top 5 tips for Magic conventions.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Commander Countdown. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 tips for live conventions and Magic Fests. The reason we're doing this is because over the next 2.5 months, there are a bunch of events that we hope to see you guys at. But first up, starting September 22nd through the 24th, we have MagicCon Vegas.
And then on October 13th through the 15th is Command Fest Portland.
And then October 20th through the 22nd is Command Fest Orlando.
And then after that, there's MTG Summit. That's October.
Yeah.
Damn it. And then after that, there is MTG Summit October 26th through the 29th.
Now, you guys will be able to find us at all of these events. I won't be at the Portland event, but the whole team will be at all of the others, and Veggie will still be at Portland. We will be doing meet and greets, signings, patron games, as well as just regular pickup games with you guys. We will have some stickers and tokens to give out. But if you guys would like more information on our appearances there, make sure you guys head on over to our Discord. You can find a link in the description.
So now let's jump into our top 5 tips for going to big Magic conventions like these. And of course, as always, we want to start with 2 of our honorable mentions that we don't think are in the top 5, but have definitely helped us individually. And let's start with your honorable mention, Nerd Girl. What do you think is important for going to a convention?
All right. So mine is a little bit more geared towards competitive play. So for those of you guys who are going to these events wanting to play some actual constructed events or maybe sealed for the pre-release type events that these events usually have, and that is have a food plan. When I was playing a lot of competitive Magic, I was finding it hard to play 9 rounds and find time to eat and hydrate and do all of those things. So for me, making sure that you have snacks is really important, and having a game plan for your lunch and dinner. For me and my friend group, that often meant whoever scrubbed out first or whoever lost their round first in round 3 would go grab everybody's Subway order. And then we made sure we were able to find something to eat, because sometimes at these conventions, there just isn't anything.
That's true. And even if you're not planning on playing competitively at these events and you're not so concerned about it, I know I get caught up in everything. I forget to eat because you sometimes are just playing Commander games back to back, and then, there's something going on. Now I'm going to go over there. And you realize, once you're sitting there, like not able to think about what's going on, that you haven't eaten. So even just having a casual eating plan, like make sure you make plans with friends or something so that you're held accountable and you actually eat.
Yeah, with Commander it is a little easier, like you said, because you can just stop between games. But the problem is you just forget. When I was a full-time poker player, I would be like, why don't I feel well? And I'd be like, I've been here for 12 hours. That's why. And it's super easy to get caught into that. So some high calorie snacks like nuts or some jerky is really good if you do get caught into that and you just need something fast. But I think also water bottles, stay hydrated. Don't spend $6 at the con, because that's my thing. I need water, but I'm not paying $6 for that. So then I just don't drink. And that puts me in a real bad spot.
Yeah.
All right, Veggie, what is your honorable mention?
My honorable mention, I think it's very important to know how to interact with people at the event. And in particular, people that you know from the internet. Because that's one of the best parts about conventions is you see a lot of the content creators that you've seen online. You see a lot of big streamers and pro players, and you have a connection with those people because you watch their content all the time. And you want to make sure that when you get the opportunity to talk with them, that it goes well.
Yeah. So making sure that you feel out someone's sort of comfort zone. A lot of people try to shake my hand, and that was never a thing I thought of before. But now post-pandemic, I'm a little bit more interested in fist bumps. Also, grabbing people's things and stuff like that can just be really tough when you don't actually know them. So, just take it slow. Don't go in for the big hugs right away, and see where the other people are at as far as those sorts of interactions. I think that's great. And that applies to not just content creators, but to anybody you might be playing with or interacting with at these events.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, almost always these events will have moments that are facilitated for you to get to meet the people that you want to see there. There are always big meet and greets or signings or content creator like clashes where you get to play games with them that are set up for you. So that's a great way to have an interaction with somebody that you want to, that is specifically in the way that everybody has kind of agreed to.
So Veggie, let's start with our number 5 pick for things for you guys to prepare or to know about going into these big Magic events. And the first one on our list is prepare your backpack.
Pack the back.
Yes, pack the back. Veggie, I want to start on the one that you hinted towards during our little like pre-show that I think is really, really important. And I think that is the number of decks that you're bringing.
Yes, I can tell you from my own experience and also from seeing it from literally everyone that I end up playing games with. You are bringing too many decks to these events. You do not need as many decks as you think that you will need.
So this was a new concept to me because as a competitive player and mostly a limited player, I always had whatever my competitive deck was, Modern, Burn, and 100 pack of empty sleeves for my sealed events, and that was it. And usually I don't even have Modern with me. I just bring the sealed sleeves. But now that I am playing more and more Commander and going to more command fests and less competitive events, I do find that I need a full quiver full of decks. I personally have been bringing like 2 to 3, sometimes a 4th of like a precon maybe that I want to bring.
Yeah.
But how many decks do you bring and how many do you think you actually will use?
Every single event that I've been to, I have cut down more and more on the number of decks that I've brought. I think 3 is a pretty solid amount, and that I know that is going to sound like practically nothing, and trust me, it is enough. You just need bring your favorite deck. Of course, you got to have that, something you know you're going to enjoy playing. Then bring something that punches up a little bit if you run into a pod that wants to play higher power, and then something that's very casual. Maybe you get paired with somebody who's just picked up a precon or something like that so that you can play at all levels.
I think that is really good advice. I see some people walk around with those big toolboxes and they have 37 decks with them, someone told me once. And yeah, you can play a lot of Commander at these events, but sometimes you want a sealed, or sometimes you want to play the same deck, or I don't know. I can't imagine anyone coming close to using even 10 decks in a weekend.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If that is your thing, if you're I am there to show off the fact that I have 50 decks and they are travel ready, go for it. But know that you will not need nearly that many to have a good time at the event.
And even if you are the type of person I feel like that wants to play a different deck every single game, I would rather not carry that much stuff and just kind of suck it up and play the same deck twice. But that's just me. Other important things we wanted to mention for your backpack is extra sleeves. Now, this can be a full pack, but I also recommend always bringing those extra ones that come in your packs because you could easily split a sleeve and you want to make sure that you can still play. You don't want that deck to be completely useless or pay overpriced sleeve things. Also, tokens and dice are really, really important. Make sure you guys have access to those, especially because Commander decks have this wide range of things. Even if you don't have the specific tokens, I think just having a little collection of things that you like to use. I have Pokemon cards that I think are cute that I use.
I always forget. I always forget tokens consistently. Make sure you've got space left in your bag. You're gonna get stuff. And if it's already full, it's going to make travel really difficult if you want to bring home that pre-release kit that you got, or a new precon that wasn't available in your area, and also make sure that you've got maybe a few spare sleeves in hard cases, because if you see a nice card that you want to pick up, you don't want to have to just jam it in your deck box like I always end up doing.
Yes. The other thing to know is not just your precon or your little kits. A lot of these events, even the base tickets are coming with swag packs. So it comes with a little backpack and a new playmat and a couple collector boosters, and the MagicCon Vegas ones are coming with secret layers. And MagicCon Vegas has a whole booth full of exclusive MagicCon swag, which is
yes.
They have hockey jerseys now, and they have a bomber jackets. Those things take up a lot of space. Mm-hmm. So I always try to end up having my little roller I don't check a bag, but I have a roller luggage and my backpack, and I'll try to have like a quarter of my roller luggage free. Or what ends up happening is I just layer all my extra clothes and I take that onto the plane to make room in the luggage. So we're going to go ahead and move on to number 4. The important thing to note before you head to the convention is some of these events have pre-registration, and MagicCon Vegas is the biggest one for this because most of the major events sell out before the event even starts. So make sure you're getting all that information on the website.
I have been in very close proximity to some unhappy people that just missed out on big events. Like if you think a particular event is really cool and you're like, oh, I got to do that, chances are everyone else thinks that too. There's like at the MagicCons, there's like Gavin's Unknown event. Sign up for that as early as possible. If there are big like money tournaments, big events like that, sign up for those immediately because that's also a big draw and people want to make sure that they get into those.
Yeah, a lot of the events actually they have a lot of them and they are very, very limited on the number. So like I know Airball, our other host of Decked Out, our other member, really into Pioneer, and they had these 32 Pioneer things that they were firing, but only once per day. And because it was only 32 people, they were all sold out by the time Airball went to try to register. Mm-hmm. So I do think it is really important. But on the flip side, there's a lot of really cool things to do at this event, and you can over-register.
Because each thing that you do pre-register for, that's a commitment. And, you know, depending on the refund policy for the particular event, things happen. Surprises happen. People show up that you didn't know that you wanted to see. And so if you are locked into your entire schedule, you know, to the hour, that can also be very tough to keep up with.
It is. That does tend to be how I like to do it. But that leads us very nicely into our number 3. And that is check the general schedule, not just the event schedule, because there are a ton of things that you guys can do that are non-gameplay specific. At MagicCon Vegas, they have the layers for the cosplayers, and you guys can go and take fun and interactive photos. They have game nights live. Anything that what do you like to do with these events, Veggie, that is not gameplay specific?
Definitely a lot of like the panels and getting that extra information. Again, the MagicCons pretty consistently have like spoiler stuff. They have like, that'll be the first previews for a new set will happen at specific panels, and you got to be there and you want to get a good seat so you can see the screens. So that's one to definitely like keep an eye out for. Also,
we at Command Fest Orlando are hosting a cosplay contest. You don't have to be in it, but you can come hang out and cheer people on, and you even get to win some prizes in the audience.
Yeah. So that's like that in particular. So that's actually our number 1. We'll just skip to that. Is make sure that you sign up for the casual cosplay contest that I'll be hosting. But yeah, like that is always such a unique and fun like spectacle, is any cosplay contest in an event, and you're just not going to get that anywhere else.
So there are a ton of things at the event that you guys can reliably find to do without needing to be in a game and have something pre-registered, because there's just a lot of stuff to do. And if you happen to not find something interesting that's happening at that time, there's always pickup games and Commander stuff going on. And if you guys are here, you're obviously a Commander fan.
Yeah. And if you're a Commander fan, again, it's easy to get caught up in playing games, and suddenly you're like 3 hours deep in a game and you realize, oh my God, I totally missed getting to see the cosplay contest. Like it was on the other side of the room and I didn't realize, and it's done.
Yeah. Meet and greets, things like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. We are almost done with our list, and that is your budget for the trip and your shopping list. These events get really pricey.
Like many of the things we've said, it is easy to get carried away. There's a lot of pretty shiny stuff. Not only do you have like an incredible selection of singles and different products, you also have very unique things like different artists that are there with their with like prints and tokens.
Yeah, there's always a lot of artists at every single event you guys are going to want to pick some stuff up at, and also look up those artists beforehand, because you can bring the cards and have them sign them, oftentimes just for a tip. But I think some artists usually charge a few dollars to have specific cards signed. So add that to your shopping list and your homework for what you want to pick up at this event.
Yes. And similar to like going to see the previews, a lot of these events will be wrapped into like a pre-release or something like that. So it'll be your first opportunity to get your hands on new cards. And you're definitely going to want to do that. So make sure that you have some of that worked into the budget as well.
Yeah, because if you just go from booth to booth and pick up $5 and $10 cards, next thing you know, you're several $100s in and you don't even know it. It goes very quickly. Okay, that leads us to our number one tip for going to some of these large conventions if you guys have never been, and that is new play groups. It's not officially a play group because you probably won't play with a lot of these people again, but playing with people you don't know or haven't interacted with before. This is pretty interesting that a lot of you guys don't get to do on the day-to-day because you just have your friend group or your local card store that you go to. Veggie, do you have a tip for sitting down at a table with 3 new players that you've never experienced? What is some of your tips that you would like to share?
Well, I'd say the biggest one is just remember that everybody's there to do the same thing. So, as someone who is maybe a little bit more extroverted than your average person, it's very easy for me to jump into a new group of people. But if that is not something that you're as comfortable with, remember that each other person at the table is feeling the same way. They have come here to play Magic and they've come here to play with new people. And so like they're just as scared of you as you are of them.
Did you just say everybody's a spider?
Yes, everyone is a spider.
That is definitely fair. My biggest thing is I like to ask new players at my table, like, hey, can I cut your deck? Or, hey, can I borrow your dice? High roll, is it okay if I roll your dice? I think that is a very polite thing to do, which I take for granted because I usually just start kind of grabbing stuff with my friends because I know that that's okay. They grab my stuff too. But yeah, just be cautious to other people's boundaries and make sure that everybody's happy. Another thing I really wanted to point out, which we will put a link in the description of this video, is one of our last Commander countdowns, and that is the Rule 0 conversations that you will have with these people, because your friend group already has these things in place, but getting to play with new players means people are bringing different power levels. People are playing decks that others find miserable. So those Rule 0 conversations are super important.
And in this case, it's even a little bit different because you will want to have your questions ready. Know the things that that are important to you when playing a game and be ready to ask them. Like, hey, what power level are we looking at? Is anybody here playing stacks? I know that I don't have really a good time playing against those, so I'd rather not do that. Or, like what you said, is it okay if I touch people's cards? All of that kind of thing. Be ready to ask your table.
Yeah. Also, if you have very expensive cards in your deck, you might want to let people know not to just grab your things or not to shuffle your deck, because some people are pretty oafy when they start shuffling things. And I'm just like, you're splitting all my sleeves. Please stop. There's one final thing I want to touch on, and I hate that I have to do it, but sometimes these events are, it's a room full of strangers and not everybody is as honest as everybody else. So people having things go missing has happened at most of these events. Oftentimes it's someone leaves it on a table and it doesn't get turned in. That's the biggest thing. But I have had people had things like removed from underneath their chairs, and that is more rare, but be cautious of it. So I personally always, if I put my bag under my chair, I also put the loop of like the shoulder strap under the foot of the chair. So like they can't pull on it without moving the chair. So just being mindful of your property, making sure that you have everything. I've left stuff on the table and walked away before. So just make sure it's like attached to your person. I will loop my backpack around my foot sometimes.
Yeah. And even this is more of an honest mistake, but also an opportunity for people, is in the course of a game, your cards may get mixed up with other players. There are plenty of effects that switch control of cards. So you want to make sure that you check everyone's stuff at the end of the game so that you get all of your cards back, and even maybe going for more unique like sleeve designs may help you out with that. I
keep people's stuff in my limited deck sometimes when I O-ring their thing. It just gets put into my deck and I've got to chase that person down. So it is not uncommon.
I think O-ring is uncommon.
Okay, I think that is the tail end of our top 5. And again, if you guys want more in-depth information about that Rule 0 to help you guys approach new players, I will put the link to that video specifically in the description here. Anything else you want to share, Veggie? Any more tips you'd like to share before we wrap this one up?
Mainly just have fun. These events are such a good time, and I am even pretty new to them. I have not been going to them for maybe like a year plus, like just that, and they are some of the best experiences you will have playing Magic the Gathering. I'm
old. I've been grinding big, Grand Prix since like 2011. So yeah, I'm old, and they are a blast. I still love going to every single one of them. They've gotten much more casual for me now that I'm going to more command fests and less like, qualifiers and things like that. So definitely love that. Have fun, guys. Leave some comments down below if you guys have tips for other people, because I know there's always a lot of interaction here. Our next Commander Countdown will be a regular top 5. So make sure you guys also use the link in the description to vote. We have opened up the voting for everybody. If you've voted on past ones, you can still vote again. And then lastly, don't forget, come see us. These events we've listed for you guys are ones that we will be at. Veggie, I'm going to have some tokens. I think we have some stickers. Mm-hmm. Anything specific you have that you want to share?
There will be plenty of meet and greets through all of these events. And I love getting goofy photos with people. So like have some ideas ready. I'll probably run with it. And of course the cosplay contest casual in Orlando.
Yay, cosplay. I'll be Nissa, I think, most likely. All right. That wraps up our Commander Countdown. This one was a little bit shorter. We didn't have a deck tech for it, but as always, we'd like to thank our sponsor, EDHRec, for making this show possible. That's it for now. We'll see you guys next time on Commander Countdown. Sometimes I don't know where to stop, and it's like it's like train. It's just like, where's the exit? And then it just keeps spewing.